Welcome back, family. We're on the final episode of season 1, episode 6, part 1. Grace Under Pressure while carrying with my sister Tamara. We're finna jump right in. Let's go. Stop. To step, out because they feel underqualified. What would you say to the woman waiting for permission?
You don't need permission. You get permission from yourself. So what are you waiting for? You talk to yourself. You talk to God. God already said it.
Yeah.
So who permission you seeking other than for you to move? So any
girl,
doubt
you
have,
better
what
speak,
we do?
Girl.
Any doubt you have, we go to God in prayer. When we confused, we go to God, right?
Right.
You have your friends. You might have a family member that you talk to. But at the end of the day, when you wake up in the morning, you have your conversation with God. You go to bed at night. When you have doubt, you go to God and figure out what I'm going to do. So who do you need permission from but yourself? God already let you know because you got it in your head. So you don't need validation from anybody. You just have to know that you can do it. So once you know you can do it, that's your permission right there.
That is your permission
just
right
move.
there.
That's your permission.
Just move. You hear so
Just
many
move.
you hear so many women who say, "Well, I went through a divorce. I can't move." Unpack that for a minute. After a divorce, when you had to find your identity or give yourself permission to start over again, unpack how that felt in that season and still be the example that you were.
Girl, there's fear in that. That's a lot to unpack. There's fear in change, fear in something ending, the embarrassment, you thinking about what people are going to think when that has something to do with it. Again, you thinking about who you're setting an example for. Is this a failure? This happened for a reason. What am I going to do now? Thankfully, I had a career or something to fall back on. So I didn't miss a beat, but I still had to deal with the heartbreak. I still had to deal with, was this a failure? What did I do wrong? But I had to keep going. Like I gave myself, me and my friends, I have this one friend that says, you have 72 hours, you have 3 days. And we would tell people that. I hadn't gone anything where I had to go into action with that 72 hours. But I had to do it then because I'm like, I can't do anything different from what I have told other people that have come to me for advice. So I had to be strong. And that is one of those examples. When I said it was another example besides this current season, that was the other thing I was thinking about when I would be at work. And when I say I would just have to stop right when I was doing and just pray because I was heartbroken. But I knew at the end of the day, whatever reason that happened, that God was going to get me through it. He was going to get me through it. And I was like, I can't doubt what's going on here. I can question it, but why am I questioning it? I'm questioning it because it's hard and I'm having to deal with it.
Right.
But he's carrying me. The fact that I can go to him right there in this moment and I can pray and I said, God, just please get me through this. Just please.
Right.
Just, I know you will. I know eventually. You just have to know that as hard as it is, again, one day at a time, eventually you're going to get to the other side of it. It's scary. It's about fear. Change is hard. Change is scary, especially when it's unexpected.
Yeah.
But again, you just have to believe. God is sufficient. I mean, his grace is sufficient. It's hard.
His grace is
his
sufficient.
Grace is sufficient.
His grace is sufficient.
When I say I have never prayed so much in my life, but you just have to know that you exist on your own as a being. And so divorce, it can't be easy for anybody, whether you expected it, whether you wanted it, or whatever the case may be. It's a huge life change, but you're going to get through it. You just have to know that you can. You have to believe, and you just, baby, just pray. I said pray. I can't say that enough. I can't say that enough. Pray until something happens.
Pray until something happens. You gotta push. Yeah. I love this one thing about you, and that I admire it. and that is travel. What does travel mean to you? Then vacations, you call it healing and joy, or how can stepping outside of familiar spaces change a woman's life? Because when you're traveling all over the world, you're in an unfamiliar place. Um, un you're doing unfamiliar things that a normal individual wouldn't do. You're bold enough to be willing to be in those unfamiliar situations. So how can stepping outside of that familiar space help a woman?
I look at it like this. When you meet someone new, like
Mhm,
let's just say you have friends that they're your friends now, you didn't know them before. Your best
mhm.
friend, you didn't know them before. But when you met them, it was something about them that made you want to talk to them again. You they've shared something that you've learned. Y'all may be could be completely different, but they may have shared something they've done and you thought, oh, that's interesting. Oh, I want to try that. Right? We
Right,
see things different. Like when we do things that are our norm, we may have a hobby or whatever the case may be, but we'll see something different and be like, oh, that's interesting. This is big on social media now. You see somebody do something, you want to try it.
right.
It's kind of like travel. It's like the first time I went somewhere out, I knew when I was little that I always wanted to travel. Um, but when I first actually went somewhere and I thought, oh, well, this is different. This is nice. And then I went another place and I thought, this is different. This is nice. And you get there and it's just this feeling about it's so different because
Hmm.
you come from, like I said, we're from small town Freeport, right? And then you go over
Excuse me,
here
excuse
to,
excuse me, excuse me. I'm from Lake Jackson. Okay.
uh, I'm sorry, Bougie Lay Jackson, but you think, okay, well, we know we have the beach here. Oh, I grew up by the beach. Look at Galveston water, look at Surfside. So then you go somewhere else and you see stuff on TV, but you see it in your eyes and you think that water's blue. So that
Right,
doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. I don't know it exists because I saw it on TV. I know it exists because I saw it myself.
right,
Wow, that's different. I experienced that. It makes you look at the world totally different. So then you come back, that's your first trip, right? And you think, okay, now I'm back to the norm, whatever. And you're feeling like, oh, that was so different. You want to share it with people. And then they share their story. Then you think, oh, really? You went there? Oh, I want to try that. So then you go and you try that and you think that's wow. And then you want to come share with people. And the more and more you see things differently, it's a different experience and it makes you look at life different. It
right.
makes you want to go tell somebody and share with somebody, and they may not be able to go. You have some people that can't travel, they're afraid to travel, but they want to hear your story. They
Yeah,
want to see you doing what you're doing. You're happy to share it, you know? And like I said, I have a passion for people. I want to be able to create these experiences for them, or I want to be able to go experience it myself with them, or to come back and share it with the people who may not have the opportunity to see it. And you have people to tell you, oh my gosh, that's so different. I wish I could do that, or I'm living vicariously through you. So
wow.
that made it become my passion. I was just like, that is why I named my business TLC, of course, for our last name, travel experience, because it's the experience for me.
Yeah,
And
it's
me
the
sharing the
experience.
experience. And people see that and they think they can't. And they're looking and they're like, I think I can do that. Can you help me with that? And so I love it. And I think that encourages, I know that it encourages people to do things that they feel like they couldn't do, whether it
Because
be small or big.
it's the experience, honey.
It's the experience for me.
You mentor young women and advocate for others. What are women struggling with most right now?
Oh gosh, relationships,
Mm, talk about
relationships,
it. Unpack
and
it.
not just with the opposite sex, but just family,
Mm,
parents,
mm,
siblings,
mm.
friends in school. You have people bullying. You have people that it's hard to communicate with people. You want to tell someone something, but you don't know how to say it because you don't want to hurt their feelings. Sometimes people just don't want to listen and they don't want to take feedback.
Right,
Somebody's trying to have a positive impact on you, but you don't want to listen. And it
right,
could be because of what you have not been exposed to, or you feel like you cannot go to your parent, or you feel like you can't say this to your sister, to your brother, you know, whatever the case may be. And so it's really relationships and being able to communicate and talk and feeling like you can share your feelings with someone. But
Mm,
we get out in the real world, you have to be able to talk to people. You have
right,
to be able to share your feelings. And sometimes there are people who are committed to misunderstanding and they don't want to listen. But
right.
you need to be able to express how you feel. If it's a situation where you cannot and they're not allowing you to, that's you're not meant to deal with that person. You
Mm,
know, it's a lot of, I mean, the world is the world. There's a lot of toxicity out there now, you
right.
know, and you have to be able to identify that. If it affects your mental health, you don't have
Mm,
to deal with that person at all. You know, relationships are important, but it has to have a positive impact on you. And
and it's a
sometimes we feel
two-way
like,
street.
right, it's a two-way street. Sometimes we feel like we have to deal with that person,
No,
but
you
no, you
don't.
don't. You absolutely do not. And so I find that, you know, in mentoring and especially young girls sharing things with me, or, you know, I call them my nieces or whatever, it has to do with relationships, whether it is boyfriend, girlfriend, or this friend did this to me, or they made me feel this way, or I can't go tell my mom this, whatever the case may be. And my communication is important. It's important for you to thrive in the world and for your own mental health. You're supposed to be
Right,
able to tell a person how you feel, a person that's
right.
in your life that you have to deal with on a day-to-day basis. Relationships are important.
And that's key in life, relationship and communications. For those to be the two most impactful areas in life, the family don't want to do it. The friend don't want to do it.
Mhm.
The boss don't want to do it. In every area that's important or key in your life, they don't want to follow one of the two. And for it to be a two-way street, how is it going to work if you don't want to follow the one or two? How
Right.
are you supposed to be able to express your love for that individual or express your comfort zone with that individual when it's not a two-way street?
You got to be able to communicate. I have to listen. You have to listen. You have to consider what I'm saying. I have to consider what you're saying. We need to be able to meet in the middle. We're not going to agree on everything, but we can
Right,
agree to disagree. But we are adults, so we're growing adults, you
right.
know. So how are we going to move forward? If you're not going to listen to me, then how are we going to move forward? We can't. And I have to listen to you too. It's like you said, it's a two-way street.
And as siblings, you know, that was something that I really took heed to, with you growing up. And sometimes I didn't want to listen, but I listen because I'm here where I am right now today. So I do appreciate you showing me and exemplifying communication and listening, because that was very key for in my life. Some decisions I made on my own because I wanted to be hard headed, but I listen. So that's key with listening and expressing and communication. I just wish some people would just look at things differently or from the other individual's perspective. That will make the situation better, because if they continue to be selfish or wanting things to just go their way all the time, they're going to end up
Mhm.
hurt. And then no one's going to want to communicate or trust or listen, because you've hurt and impacted so many people with your selfish ways,
Right.
if
I
that
always
makes
say
sense.
that perspective is everything.
Right,
Different people see, you can look at the same situation, y'all can see it two different ways. I can say something, perception is
right,
everything. That's why, again, communication is important, because we both can look at something and I got it this way and you got it this way. And it's like you have a conversation, you're like, oh, well, you're probably right. But if you never had that conversation, you're mad and you're thinking this, and I'm mad and I'm thinking this or whatever. But you have to listen. And like you said, you heard what I said. You may have not listened or taken it in or decided to do otherwise. But one thing I know you can say is sometimes when you did something else and didn't turn out the way you wanted to, you remember what I said. And you're like, I didn't listen, but she was right. And some things I saw you do, I was like, okay, I'm just not going to say anything. Sometimes we have to learn on our own. God puts us in positions to learn some things on our own. He don't just put it right there in front of us, right? Because he already knows what's going to happen, right? So
and did.
And that is okay too. That's part of growing. It's growing pains.
Indeed, indeed. While we're almost getting close to closing, you see how time flies by?
It
Time
did
just flies
fly.
by, especially when it's good. It's good. If you could sit face to face with a woman who is exhausted, discouraged, carrying silent battles, and ready to give up, what would you tell her? Now, I want you to think about it and really dig deep in your bag, as I say, and be real and honest and transparent with what you would tell her today.
Girl, what is wrong with you? Girl, do you know who you are? Do you know who you were a child of? That sounds so cliche, but I've done it. Ask my friends. We probably have all had this conversation. My discernment is pretty much A1. And I talk just like this. I'm very direct. I will probably roll my eyes, although I'm very empathetic to what you're going through at the time, because I've been through a lot and I feel like I have to give you that tough love. And I'm like, girl, didn't you just tell me, what we just praying about something? And you sitting here about to fall apart. Why? I know it's uncomfortable, but why is you acting like that? Now, what did I tell you yesterday? I'm thinking about this and I'm laughing because I know you know my best friend. She probably would laugh right now because we've had many of these conversations. It's like, girl, what is wrong with you? You sitting here crying. And when you just blessed this morning with such and such and such and such. So you didn't think that you were gonna have some kind of hardship after that? You thought it was just gonna be just perfect and easy? Haven't you gone through something before? And what happened? Didn't you go through such and such and such and such? It wasn't that resolved? Didn't God get you through that? So you don't think He gonna get you through this too? Now the person I'm having this conversation with is me because I have to do this weekly. I have to be honest about that. So I'm being very transparent. So the conversations I've had, that, like I said, that same conversation with other people, but I can have it because I have to have it myself. And I'm talking to myself like that. I can be sitting at my desk and something happened. I might remember something or thinking, oh my gosh, how am I going to do this? And that's the conversation I'm having with myself. And it sounds funny, it sounds cliche, it sounds made up, but it's real. And people around me can tell you that, you know. You can tell them that I probably told you that in some shape, form, or another. It's like, and the person listening is like, because I'll do that too. But look, God puts us all in position at the right time for the right person.
Right.
And I know that. And so I know when I say what I say, it may be very direct and it may not be all soft like people want it to be, but if it's right on time, I know that. It's
Mm,
right on time.
right on time. And you said a
Mhm.
best friend. Unpack on how key it is in life to have that one best friend.
Oh, girl. Oh, it's so important because physically, we can, we know you can always go to God and you pray, you cry, you call out his name or whatever. But to physically have someone here, sometimes you just need somebody sitting by your side. When you get that relationship with that person, sometimes you don't even have to say nothing. They can just look at you and you just feel their energy and you just need them there. Or you just want to know that you can go on. This is old school Marco Polo, but this is how me and my friends communicate now. And you just laugh and see your face. I can get on there and my friends have learned me enough now to because I can hide how I feel. But I have a friend that she'll be like, friend, I hear your voice. I know you're not okay. And that's enough for me. That's all I need. And that just gets me through the day because she recognized that I don't want to tell her, I don't want to share it, I don't want to talk about it. And that's all I need to hear. Things like those are important. You could just be having the worst day, and that friend you just need it from that one person. Like your mom can tell you, or whoever, you need it from that person that you know that's always there for you. And it'll get you through the day, the week, or whatever. And you'll go back and think about that, like it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. So it's important to have that best friend. And the best friend, it don't have to be, it could be your sister, brother, your best friend, maybe your parent, whoever it is, but it's just so important to have that person that you can go to and you can share, and they just sometimes understand without you saying a word. And y'all
Mm,
can pray together. It's important you're a believer to have another believer beside you.
It is important that you are a believer and have another believer by your side. I love it. Well, as we're coming to a close, my hero, I want to thank you for taking time out of your day, for stopping by Let's Talk Sis and dropping some gems, some dimes, some nuggets, a little razzle dazzle here about your travel experience and your life and your story. And since while you're watching, those of you who are watching in the comments, I want you to get personal with us and let us know, have you ever looked okay while still struggling? What battle strengthened your faith? What battle strengthened your faith? And what area of your life are you healing from right now? Since today's conversation was proof that resilience doesn't mean you never hurt. It means you refuse to quit. You can be healing and still lead. You can be fighting and still have faith. You can carry scars and still carry purpose. Remember this, your battle is not your identity. Your story still has more power than chapters left. I love you so much, Sissy, and enjoy your Saturday. Bye, Let's Talk Sis community. Signing out. Bye. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's a wrap on season 1 of Let's Talk Sis with Cala. I want to personally thank Lady Helen Miller. I want to thank Latasha Prince, Terry Little, Pastor LaJoy James, Kanisha Brenton, and Tamara C for being open and so transparent and bringing all the dimes and nuggets every week. Hey, y'all be looking out for season 2 is up on the horizon. Thank you so much again for the support and love. Let's go!